Am I the asshole for refusing to speak to my daughter after she uninvited me from her wedding, even though I paid for most of it? Hey, before we move on to the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Thanks. I'm a 52-year-old man, and last month my daughter got married. I wasn't there, not because I didn't want to be. I wasn't invited, not even to sit in the back, not to wave, not to take pictures, not to cry like a fool while she walked down the aisle. I wasn't welcome. The reason? My ex-wife didn't want me there, and my daughter, my only child, went along with it. Her name is Lily. She's 26 now, and I used to think we were close. I raised her. I was the one who did the late-night math tutoring, the early morning school drop-offs, the endless dance recitals where I filmed everything even when she begged me not to. I wasn't perfect, but I showed up. Always. Her mom, Rachel, and I were married for 17 years. We had Lily when we were both in our late 20s, and for a while, things felt stable. I worked long hours in IT, mostly freelance and contract work back then, so the money wasn't always consistent, but I paid the bills. Rachel stayed home with Lily until she started school, then picked up part-time hours here and there. We weren't rich, but I made sure they had what they needed. When Lily was 15, I found out Rachel had been cheating on me. It wasn't a one-time mistake or some drunken lapse in judgment. It was a full-on affair, years long, with a coworker she swore was just a friend. I found messages, hotel reservations. I confronted her, and she didn't even deny it, just cried and said, I didn't know how to end it. I felt stuck. She begged me not to blow up our family, not to tell Lily, not to ruin everything. I was wrecked. I'll be honest. I begged her to go to counseling with me. I offered to forgive her if she'd cut it off and be honest, but she didn't want to. She was already emotionally gone, so I filed for divorce. The next year of my life was one long, slow nightmare. Rachel fought for full custody, claimed I was emotionally unstable because I'd yelled at her during one of our last arguments. She tried to paint herself as the sainted mother holding the family together while I acted out. It was garbage, but family court doesn't care if your wife cheated. They care about stability and continuity, and Rachel was better at spinning a calm, reasonable story in court. I got shared custody, but she got primary. Lily was still a teenager, and Rachel immediately started poisoning the well. Subtle stuff. Your dad's stressed, sweetheart. Let's not bother him. Or, it's hard for him to be a full-time parent. He never really had to before. That kind of thing. I tried to keep it cordial, but every time I dropped Lily off, I could see Rachel smirking like she'd won. Still, I kept showing up. I took Lily to soccer. I helped with her college applications. When she got into a state school with a decent scholarship, I covered everything else, books, dorm furniture, monthly stipends, because I knew Rachel wouldn't lift a finger. She'd support Lily emotionally, whatever that meant, but when it came time to pay, she always had an excuse. Through college, Lily and I were close. Or so I thought. We texted almost daily, did video calls. I visited her once a month, even though it was a 5-hour drive. She always thanked me for being the consistent one. She said, "You never gave up on me." I held those words close. They got me through every lonely weekend. Every holiday, she chose to split, mostly with Mom, because it's easier. After graduation, Lily got a job in another city. I helped her move. I paid for the U-Haul, drove it myself, even stayed a couple of extra days to help her build IKEA furniture. She cried when I left, hugged me, said, "I'm so lucky you're my dad." Then she met Tyler, her now husband. I met him a few times, seemed like a decent guy. Polite, steady job, laughed at my bad jokes. Didn't say much, but he treated Lily well. I had no complaints. When they got engaged, I was thrilled. She called me first. I cried on the phone. I told her I'd help with anything. Venue, catering, honeymoon. Even though I'm not wealthy, I've always saved for big milestones. And this was the milestone. My baby girl was getting married. She said, "I want you to walk me down the aisle, Dad. You've earned it more than anyone." I cried again, like a sap. A few months later, she sent me spreadsheets, cost breakdowns, vendor lists. I told her I'd cover the venue and catering, which was already a huge chunk, over $20,000. I didn't hesitate. I didn't ask for conditions. I just said, "Anything for you." Then, 3 weeks before the wedding, she called me. I knew something was wrong. Her voice was tight, weirdly formal. She said, "Dad, I need to talk to you about something, and I really hope you won't take it the wrong way." My stomach sank. She said, "We've been talking, and I think it might be better if you don't come to the wedding." I thought I'd misheard. I literally said, "What?" She started babbling about how Rachel was feeling anxious, how she didn't want drama, how she wanted the day to be peaceful, how Tyler's family didn't need to see any weirdness. I just sat there, silent. Then she said, "It's not personal." I laughed. Not because it was funny, because I didn't know what else to do. "Not personal?" I said. "You're uninviting your father from your wedding, the one who paid for half of it." She said, "Mom's really emotional right now. She says she'll cry if she sees you." And I can't handle that. I need her to be okay. I asked her, "What about me?" And she said, "I know this hurts, but you're strong. You'll understand." I hung up the phone. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I didn't even speak. I just hung up. I sat in my kitchen for 2 hours without moving. I stared at the fridge like it owed me answers. I thought about every Christmas I spent alone so she could be comfortable at her mom's. I thought about the way she used to run into my arms when she saw me at school events. I thought about the time she had the flu in college, and I drove 5 hours through a snowstorm to bring her soup and medicine. I thought about all of it, and I realized none of it mattered. Because when the biggest moment of her life came, she chose the woman who tore our family apart. The one who lied, who manipulated, who gaslit both of us. She chose her, and she told me to be strong. I haven't spoken to her since. I didn't ask for my money back. I didn't cancel any checks. I just disappeared. A week later, I got a text from Rachel, my ex. It said, "Thanks for helping make our daughter's day perfect." She was radiant. I didn't respond, because I finally understood. I was good enough to pay for it, just not good enough to be part of it. I spent the day of the wedding doing nothing. I didn't go for a walk. I didn't turn on the TV. I didn't drink. I didn't cry. I just sat on the couch with the blinds drawn, phone face down, completely still. The quiet was deafening. There were no texts from family asking if I was on my way, no calls with last-minute directions, no FaceTime from my daughter showing me her dress or her flowers or her friends laughing while they got ready. I wasn't part of the story. Around 3 p.m., I checked Facebook. I don't know why I did it. Some stupid reflex. The kind that hurts, but you do it anyway, like pushing on a bruise. There she was, Lily, tagged in someone's live video, walking down the aisle. She looked beautiful. That part wasn't surprising. She always did. But what gutted me was how happy she looked. Like nothing was missing. Like I hadn't been cut out like a tumor. It was Rachel walking her down the aisle. Rachel, the same woman who lied to me, lied to our daughter, and blew up our family for her own selfish reasons. And there she was, smiling, waving at guests like royalty, tears in her eyes like she was the picture of maternal sacrifice. I don't know if I've ever hated someone in my life, but in that moment, I came close. The rest of the night, I saw pictures flood in. Her first dance, cutting the cake, speeches. She posted a thank you note the next day that said, "I was surrounded by love from the people who've always been there for me. Always been there. I paid for the catering, for the venue, for the DJ. My money was there, but I wasn't." People started reaching out. My sister called the next day, fuming. She'd been invited, kept it quiet out of awkwardness, but told me later she was shocked I wasn't there. She'd assumed I backed out due to illness or something. When I told her the truth, she went ballistic. Said Lily should be ashamed. Said she'd never seen such a selfish move in her life. She hasn't spoken to Lily since. Other relatives messaged me quietly. A cousin from Tyler's side said they were confused why Lily's father wasn't in any of the photos and assumed I passed away. Someone even asked Rachel about me at the reception, and she apparently said, "Oh, he couldn't make it," like I had something better to do. A few people tried to stay neutral. Said things like, "It's hard to plan weddings. There's always drama." One even said, "It was probably a misunderstanding." And I get it. People don't want to take sides. It's easier to pretend pain is just miscommunication. But there was no misunderstanding. I was told, clearly and calmly, not to come to my only child's wedding. The worst part? I haven't heard a real apology. Not once. 2 weeks after the wedding, I got a text. "Hey, Dad. Hope you're okay. Just wanted to say thanks again for everything." I know this was hard. That was it. That was all. No, I'm sorry I cut you out. No, I regret it. Just a little pat on the head for being such a good sport about being disinvited from the most important day of her life. I didn't respond. What was I supposed to say? You're welcome for letting you make me invisible. The weeks turned into a month. Then two. No follow-up. No explanation. Just silence, like I was expected to cool off, take my little time out, and come back when I was ready to smile and nod. Then she posted pictures from their honeymoon. Rome, Venice, Florence. Candlelit dinners and gondola rides. I recognized the luggage in the corner of one photo. I bought that set for her last Christmas. She didn't tag me. She tagged Rachel. She's the most amazing mom, the caption read. I wouldn't be who I am without her. No mention of me. No thanks to the person who paid for the trip. No recognition of the man who raised her, who went without plenty so she could have more. I started to ask myself something that felt ugly and ungrateful, but it kept clawing at me anyway. What did I do all those years for? What was the point of the tutoring, the rides, the bailouts, the holidays spent alone so she could be comfortable? What did any of it mean if she could just wipe me out of her life like a chalkboard? I think what kills me most is how easy it was for her. There wasn't even a fight. No screaming match. No final blowout. Just a quiet, polite call where she asked me to disappear, and I did. I gave her everything, and she decided I was the problem. I wish I could say I've reached some kind of acceptance, that I've moved on, that I've found peace in setting boundaries. But the truth is, I miss my daughter. I miss her laugh, her awful taste in movies, the way she'd always ask for gas money and then come back with a Starbucks in her hand. But I don't miss feeling disposable. I don't miss wondering if I'll be uninvited from the next big moment. I don't miss pretending everything's fine while someone tells me they love me with words and show me something very different with actions. The thing about betrayal is that it doesn't just hurt once. It echoes. Every time I see a father dancing with his daughter, every time I hear a story about a wedding toast, it comes back. That ache in my chest. That feeling of being the only one who wasn't important enough to fight for. And I'm starting to wonder if maybe the truth is simpler than I want to admit. Maybe she just didn't love me as much as I loved her. It's been 6 months since the wedding, and the silence has settled in like a weight I can't lift. I still haven't heard from Lily. No calls, no texts, no messages, nothing. I don't even know if she's thought about me once since that day. I keep hoping she'll break the silence. Maybe reach out with a dad, I'm sorry, or even just can we talk? But every day, it feels less likely. My ex-wife, Rachel, hasn't made it any easier. She's stepped into the role of the perfect mother so fully it's sickening. She posts on social media about how grateful she is for her wonderful daughter and how proud she is of the life they're building. I'm tagging none of it, of course. Recently, Rachel sent me a message out of the blue. It said, "You should be happy Lily has found peace. Let her live her life." It was a slap in the face, disguised as a piece of advice. I want to scream at her, to tell her she destroyed our family and got away with it. But I don't. I've realized that fighting Rachel only pushes Lily further away. So I stay quiet. The financial side of this mess is another nightmare. I never asked for a penny back from the wedding costs, but Rachel went ahead and submitted paperwork to claim the venue and catering costs on her taxes, as if she was the one who paid. I found out because Lily casually mentioned how her mom handled all the wedding expenses, leaving me out of the picture again. It's not about the money, really. It's about the principle, about being erased. The most painful moment came when I ran into Tyler at a family gathering a few weeks ago. I asked him if Lily was okay, if she might want to talk someday. Tyler looked me dead in the eye and said, "I think Lily's happy where she is. That's all that matters." He never once mentioned that I was her father or that I was part of her past. I'm left wondering what kind of man I raised. A man who could stand by and let his wife cut out the man who loved his daughter the most. Sometimes I catch myself dreaming of a life that could have been. A family where love isn't conditional, where mistakes are forgiven, and where a father's place at his daughter's wedding is never questioned. But those dreams feel like lies now. So here I am, a man left on the sidelines, watching a wedding he paid for become a memory he wasn't allowed to make. And all I want is for someone to see me, to really see me and say, you didn't deserve this. Because the truth is, I didn't. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button.